Okay, and all right, Sanbonani, good evening. Welcome to everybody, of course, who's managed to join us tonight on this particular session of live chats on Monday. We're now in the second season, the last month thereof. I know some of you are going to be crying, saying, oh, so fast. But we are every meeting, obviously, every Monday for only 30 minutes. 6:30 is the time. And we're sure to make sure that this month we'll take you out with a nice selection of interviews, nice guests, wonderful with good ideas and good things to say. One of you here tonight, Miss Mncwango, kunjani sis?
Ngiyaphila ninjani?
Thanks for gracing us with your presence. We know you're a very busy lady. Getting hold of you, Jay, you know,
Hey, yeah, but man, thank you for having me. I'm honored. Honestly, I'm really honored. Yeah, I feel special.
Of course, and those who are wondering, who is this girl? She is Xolly, aka Xolly Mncwango. She's a Summer Award nominee, double Summer Award nominee, top-selling gospel artist, formerly of course Joya Celebration, but also just happens to be my wife's sister. So, now that you are famous and people are walking around and recognizing you at the mall, how does it feel, you know, to get all these gigs?
Oh my gosh. I get that question, Gakulu, yes. Sometimes, sometimes I even forget, but how, you know? So I think for me, it's something that I'm to be honest with you. And I hope that I pray that I'm honestly. Yeah.
Understandable. And I'm not thinking now, Manju, okay, so now that you're there, you find yourself, is it something when you rewind in your life, of course, 10, 15 years ago, that you thought one day is going to happen, or Velenje, by accident, you just found yourself where you are now?
Can I be honest? Can I be honest? No, I somehow, I'm not going to lie. Somehow I once thought of it, Guti. You know, I'm going to be big, but not to be honest with you. And I think but I just knew that God is going to take me places that I'm going to be honest with that. I knew from the word go that God is going to do big things with me, and I'm available and I'm ready.
And speaking of uNkulunkulu as a Christian, of course, I think there's also that balancing act now that becomes a bit difficult. I mean, outside of all of those appearances that you have to make at church, the studio time, the singing with Abo Jup Jup, you know, mixing it up with the big people, etc. When you get back home and you're now in that ministry mode, you know, would we say perhaps Tina, as umphakathi, we expect a bit too much from our gospel artists in terms of singing the song and living the Christian life?
I think so. Yeah. That's a tricky one. I honestly think sometimes people expect so much from about us, you know. They forget that we humans, we go through the same pain. We go through life just like everybody else. We go through it, and now they expect us to act or to just be another goal and not feel the pain and not be okay to say I'm not okay, you know. So I honestly feel like sometimes they do that, but sometimes you can do that to yourself, to like, okay, let me just shy away from whatever that I'm feeling now. Let me concentrate on this. And then late, you're realizing it's either you're on drugs or you just, you know, but you're realizing there are things that I haven't dealt with, or I can't deal with myself. I can't sit down with myself and acknowledge that I'm in pain or I'm going through life.
It's good that you mentioned Indaba drugs. I'm thinking now, it's something that kind of cuts across between, well, mostly within the music and entertainment world for abantu abangasingisi. So the funny thing then becomes, how then does it cross over to people who proclaim, you know, to be Christians and to be Christ-centered and born again? How do we then have exactly the same problems as when Leasite happening within the gospel community and the gospel industry?
Yeah. I think just like I said before, I'll be honest with you, mostly Kuma peers with, it starts with just having fun, you know. Before having fun, I'm now depending on this thing. Now, depending on this thing, I'm not ashamed to say, yeah, I do it, you know. And now my friends around me, they have to be comfortable and know, no, Xolly now is into this. Firstly, I always say, make sure that you surround yourself with good people so that when you off ramp, they'll be quickly to say, aye, but that's not you. Because you're a human, sometimes you're really off ramp. But abantu surrounded and nobakwazi ukuthi but Xolly akusiwena lo bazokubuyisa bekutshela, but that's not you. Is there anything you're going through? And then you start from there. For me, I honestly feel like it's really starts with, I'm just having fun. Before having fun, I'm now depending on this thing. And before you know it, it's your everyday thing, you know, and Christian or not, it's a daily decision of just knowing I'm really, it's not for me or it's for me. And just really, honestly, for me, what's really safe is just surround yourself with good people. People abakwaziyo ukuthi uxoli before stage or off stage bad, so that when I'm off ramping, they'll be quick to say, "Hayi ke angimazi lo Xolly." You know, for me, that's just it.
And
besides drug and alcohol, anything in life, they quick to say, "That's not Xolly Smazi." Then you check yourself. You're like, yeah.
But isn't it a case of when you finally hit it? Now, but people come to you to ask for a selfie, you know, and you are almost then the center of focus and the center of attention. Doesn't that put a wedge between the relationship? Because you are now in the spotlight, not necessarily your friends who really can help you, balance the scales.
Yeah, but what can we say? It is, but lucky enough for me, like I said, I try so hard to really surround myself with people who know and who understand the whole thing. So it's never honestly a thing of, oh, so friend, now you're, it's honestly speaking, I haven't experienced, except to get things like how things like, how I used to joke before. Now I have to be careful with ish. Maybe now it's going to offend them. But now because I'm in this position, I have to be smart. Like, okay, maybe this time it can offend anyone. It's just those little things of just knowing it's okay. Let me now be careful about this, and that. But honestly, like I said, most of my friends really understand. This is where we at.
And in pressure again, the lifestyle, of course, comes with the pressure. And sometimes you find, which, like you're saying, you've got your group of friends, you're grounded there, you've got your home church, etc. You kind of have a good surrounding atmosphere that keeps you grounded. Now, that, of course, can change easily when you start to have to tour, you have to go to the different countries, you're in Cape Town and you're in New York. And now that support structure that you kind of depend on, like you're saying, is no longer there. Now you're left with the rules and the people that really would offer you all these other things that are not right. How then does one aspiring artist, aspiring musician, aspiring actor who's saying your Xolly has arrived and she's made it? What would you tell them to stay to keep that grounding when they don't have that surround support?
Hey, and that's one thing I honestly went through, Mina, in my whole transaction thing. I had to now understand I can't go to church. I enjoy serving. I enjoy going to church and meeting people, fellowshipping. I enjoy it. It's one thing I just look forward to, and it's one thing that I know that keeps me grounded. So now, boom, everything changes. I can't. I'm like, okay, and I can normally feel that, okay, something is missing, because at some point you can't always give. You also now have to take in. I have to really be honest, and there are times where I just don't do gigs on my Sundays because I have to sit down numbing twalis. But one of the things I have done, mina is we have cell groups. We have ladies that I know, like Nishos Abanyang Babazinja from who's Kulumela. This is what I do. I have 3 groups in my phone, just my WhatsApp group. We have like Monday, guys, standards and read the word. It's just a strategy time, you understand? So because I don't want to miss. I know my share Monday, they'll be sharing what was happening at church. And that's just my strategy to keep me be okay, to keep me next to Alice, It's also being honest with yourself and sitting down and realizing, okay, I'm doing something different now. So I'm not getting his cut. So yes, on 20 and okay, let me try this. And it's just honestly just getting to know yourself. Changes are there. And yeah, man, it's something that I really, and I'm still, even now, hey, funny enough, I'm still trying to get the balance. It's okay now. Should I decline the gigs on my Sundays so that I can go to church? Or, but I once in a while, I really try to like, okay, now let me make this Sunday to be about Xolly and just go to church. Well, things are gonna change. Like right now at my church, I'm realizing that things are just, man, it's one of those, someone used to say to me, sometimes going up, I don't know how to say it, sometimes it can be a lonely journey. You understand what I mean? Can be really, let's be honest, a lonely journey when you realize in Guti. I used to come to worship team and be like, hey, now I have to, hey, and differently and be and be smart. Okay, I'm tiptoe, I'm feeling tiptoe and now and not hurt other people. But at the end of the day, we also get people who are truly just understanding that it's just life. I also have to be cautious, like little things like now I'm because I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to make them feel like I'm taking advantage. You understand? But before I'll be like, let's just sing, let's do this. But now at church, I have to be very cautious and just know I don't want to sing song so that people know that I take their work serious and I take this very serious. I don't want them to make them feel like I'm taking advantage. Oh, I talk too much. I'm so sorry.
Not a problem. You're the guest today. You must talk until
I talk forever. Like they always sound like, oh, shush. But I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The Indaba Sonton is a very important one because you're pretty much in the church. Most big artists, anyway, from Whitney Houston, you name them, are discovered in the church. They then go on to become big. And you still try and come back to the same church where you are grounding, to speak of that grounding, so that you can almost not get lost in Lelen, in all the fame and the stuff. And now, but when you come back to church now, as Xolly, who has released and sold, you're no longer that Xolly, says red carpet, says on the spot, please, can you please sing this? You are treated with special gloves now. Does that help in grounding you guys, or does that actually make you feel as in take on those Sunday gigs?
For me, to be honest with you, I mean, that's one thing. Which I know church is home for me. I want to feel like I'm at home. I know shame, and I've learned to accept to go to shame. I can't control it. They make me feel special, but I always remind myself, I'm at church, I'm here to serve. It's not about to call. It's not about call. It will never be about call. It's one thing you have to remind yourself, because man, they just genuinely just happy for you. They just genuinely really. Sometimes they're just acknowledging where you are, but when as a woman, you always have to remind yourself, it's okay. It will never be about Xolly. Like no matter. So no matter. Yeah, sometimes it's uncomfortable. Like Xolly. Like yeah. But man, I sometimes really understand because they just really honestly celebrating Xolly. It's up to me to always remind myself that it's not about me. It will never be about Xolly, but it's about what God has installed in me and just God choosing to use Xolly, But it will never be about, hey, I'm here. So I think that's one thing that keeps me grounded and keeps me and also just honestly knowing that God can just decide to stop it now. You understand what I mean? So that's one thing I know for sure. And he can also decide to just stop. So just always try so hard to make it not about you. So man, we love our church, our churches. We love them. We love them.
Understandable, and I think it's a bit of unfair pressure, I should say, that we the church put on you guys, because now we've got somebody who's recognized, who's national, who's on TV, who's on radio, who can also then help put the church at a higher place in terms of abantu buyers around the area and stuff. But in all of that pressure that you get, and knowing that I was touring yesterday, I was touring this week, I am really tired, I just really want to receive the word today. Is it possible for you to actually say, Masebek Biz at the stage, oh, can she come and sing? Can you? Do you actually know how to say no? Are you allowed to say not namhlanje?
Njani ngoba ngizothi usephakeme njani. But man, like I said, it's hard. It's hard to say no. But also now this is my thing. Like I said, my church is home. I always feel at home. So sometimes I even forget that I need to perform, but I do what I've been doing at home. You understand? It's a different story. Sometimes you really be like, you know what, this is home. It's not even about, yes, I want to give them the best, but if there's nothing really I can do today, they know when I can do the best, they know when I'm, but just sometimes it's really just honoring them. It's not really about just honoring them. But sometimes
I know. That's why I had to ask, because it's I suppose it's a thing that we don't take seriously, because we recognize the brand and no longer the person. We want to take advantage of that. And I suppose it's wrong for us to do that as well. And I'm trying to think in mind, which, okay, Tina, as it seems we have a problem, right? So we come generally from poor backgrounds. We've made it big now, and we've seen this now with footballing stars, with actors and actresses, with singers, and people who've made it big. That at some point in time, when somebody hits that fame bracket, when they start making those six figures and they start getting gigs every second weekend, something goes wrong in terms of discipline, and now that you've kind of managed to stay grounded, even having crossed over to the fame side, what are maybe 2 or 3 things once you get to this side that I'm on, be wary of 1, be wary of 2, kapela on number 3?
Last weekend I was singing a PE, and Ubab Jabu Shongwana was a guest speaker there, and he said something that I wish wonke umuntu omusha, and actually, because it starts there, wonke umuntu omusha can hear. He said, "No mungayap, but qala with God." 2, know your background and carry it with you. That will always help you. No musugupi, just know good mina what ngiqalela. And that humbles me. When Ashon Jali, it reminded me of myself, Guti. When people speak bad about serving, I can stand boldly to say, I am this story because I started serving where I was. Serving 10 people, sometimes it will be 5 people with a keyboard, sometimes with no keyboard. And today I can stand anywhere and sing anywhere with anyone. So it's putting God first. God has a way of always reminding you, Uti, you are in a wrong place. You are not supposed to be here. This is not you. This is your identity. And also carry your truth and your background, where you're coming from. Never forget where you're coming from. It helps you with where you're going. Whatever that, little did I know that singing for 10 people was preparing me for 10,000 people. Now I can stand with no mic and shout, because they're Holy Bible Focus Church Bank food. You understand? So when now I am in this place, Yoguba famous and being on, little things like having to fit in, I don't, it's not my thing, because I already know I am loved at home. Mind you, I know where I'm from. I know I'm loved. I have for who Xolly is, not Xolly can do what Xolly has, but who Xolly really is. When I have nothing, when I don't have to perform, I know I can go back home and be a child and be purely loved. That is me not forgetting where I'm from. So again, God and where you're from would carry you for iskate seat. So now I'm here, ne? I now, when I then remember what for, because I am loved at home. I don't have to try and fit in. Sometimes you put pressure on your way and you go to people, little things like outfits, a stage being performing outfits. Before you know it, you don't have any savings. Before you know it, you move up, because you're always worried about what are people going to think about you, what are people saying about you. But trust me, if you have an identity and you just know. And 3, surround yourself with good people. I'll stress this forever. People who will be able to say, Xolly, so that if it's so figure they will always, I still receive phone calls to say, It doesn't look good. And for me, I'm happy. That man just still receive phone calls, mom fundis ati. Oh, for 3 weeks I'm bonus on 20. Then I'm just, oh, I was working at Pella Reports. That's a child. You understand that? You surround yourself with things and people that others always remind you. Masek Pelegonke, you're a human being. Masek Pelegonke, you're a daughter of someone. Masek Pelegonke, you're a sister. Masek Pelegonke, a kaya, where you from there? But expect to go to Kolukuliswe Ganje. Masek Pelegonke, just know it's never bad. So man, pressure will always be there. It's a way of life, but you always have to remind yourself of certain things. As it Mina, those are the things that helps you to always just know. Even when saying shy, is saying no, it's Ishia, but I then remember, this is not me. I think I answered. I almost forgot what was the question, but yeah.
No, you did well. You did well, actually. It's the 1, 2, 3 things, for people who are upcoming.
Put God first. Remember where you're from and surround yourself with good people. People will tell you the truth.
Magnificent. So I'm thinking, you mentioned something earlier, Wutsi, you remain grounded, even Masobele Kaya, and you pretty much remain the same person that you were prior to hitting the fame. Now, that's very important. I'm trying to think, especially from a worship team perspective, where, you kind of really have to connect with Unkulunkulu in your individual space before you come and minister on the small stage of 5, 10, 15, 20, even 100 people. So much so that Mauzizwa when emoyen sometimes in the small place that, hey, but I'm not right, man. That other day, I need to reconnect, and you can then easily excuse yourself in the small setting, which today I really can't perform with you guys. I can't sing with you. I can't minister with you because I don't feel right emoyen. Right. So that's in the small church. Now you've hit the big time. You are ministering nonetheless, but now to 10,000, to 15,000, to 20,000. And ikiki corner. But now when awuzizwa right emoyeni. Is it even possible? Bazalwane, can I withdraw from this bill so I can go sit and reconnect? I mean, now we're talking the checks, we're talking the branding, that whole pressure that comes with the performance ministry. How do you get that right of still trying to ground yourself, spend time with God, know who He is, and when you're not in a good space, still be able to minister on a big stage?
I love that question, good Ronald. I love it. Well, firstly, we have to understand that, okay, this is my rule and God. You know what, God? Be right and remain the same. That's my number 1 rule with Him. So if I'm talking about a healer, whatever that is concerning me, being healed. While they are big, because my priority is being honest. When I'm on stage, I forget about everyone, but I talk to God based on how I feel. So if I come and I'm broken, sometimes, and it has happened, I remember that, and I don't forget those moments. I always, funny enough, I always carry them, and sometimes songs comes from those moments. I remember, I think before COVID, there was a conference in on ladies' conference. I was down, emotional, Ronald, not feeling like I even want to see people, just based because of life, because of what we go through as humans. And I'm like, these people, they want me to go encourage them. Okay, God. But my thing is now, I can't descend the stage and be the same God. What I did, I stood there and I said, I have to be honest. I sang from the heart. I cried. And little did I know that some ladies were feeling like me, and God used me that day. And something happened till today. I can't, and from that day, I still have relationships based on the things that happened that day. So it's those moments where it's really, at some point, you're a vessel. You can't say, Maktiwa, you just have to. I guess. And there are moments where you really be on stage. People think you kalela moyo, but you're just broken. And you crying before God. You're putting yourself before God, like, God, this is me, man. And I can't turn back, because before money, it's you just honestly a vessel. You know, so for me, my number one rule is really, angikhona ukwehla stage, and ngiyamtshela uNkulunkulu angifuni actually ukwehla stage and not have said everything or how I'm feeling. That's why I always say, I mean, I can sing a song 50 times. Every day it will mean a different thing to me, because I have to be honest. If I'm broken, it means I have to someone not broken and God is using me. I have to be there. And I'm there. Sometimes it's not the best performance because I'm shy, you know, but what I can do, I do it honestly.
And okay, so say for example, you know, you've been singing in church, in small churches, in big churches, medium-sized churches, etc. At some point in time, after a period, you kind of know this song, that key, that you know somewhat the things that will bring out a certain reaction.
Yeah,
you can master them so much so that even if you can just press that button and things will happen. How do you then balance that knowledge of things can happen in Gomasing Tanda and still try to minister the real thing when you don't feel like it?
I was exposed. I think really it's really also we feed from people. We know, like I know right now as healing power. I even forget to. There are times I even forget the lines because people are overwhelming. But I don't know how to answer that question, man. I don't know. As honestly, it's I never was. But I guess, and there was a song that would hear the crowd, but I think they love this note. You know, like I say, Mina, in all honesty, I try, man, to be myself and be honest. So angazi Ronald, yazi angazi answera kanjani.
Inzima ekuphapheni kwakho kukhona iculo engilithanda kakhulu without having you sang it. It's called Ungukuphila. You must forgive me, phela I'm sure ngijazi, you know. There are so many clicks in that song. Were you trying to reinvent the click song or what? Like, honestly, I mean, we have people who are non-Zulu. Anyway, forget about that. Give us a bit of a taste of that before we let you go tonight, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the song album called Jesus is Enough. If you don't have it, go get it. So the song says Ungukuphila manxeba akho aliyeza kumulixhala belibanzi ngqongqoshe wezulu ungukuphila unjalo unjalo wezulu.
I was tempted to back there, but and people will be laughing at me out there, so rather let me not do it. Miss Xolly, last words.
Please.
Last words. If imagine, of course, that this interview is going to be watched by the whole world. Everybody out there is going to see this and really be excited by what you just said. What is the one thing that you want them not to forget, Namhlanje? If there's a message that you have that you want to give out to people, Namhlanje, this is the time. What is it?
Maybe firstly, for the love and the support you guys are giving me. I feel it, man. I see it every day. We are now posting about the tours. Please follow me on my social medias. We are going all out. But my last words, honestly, there's nothing more. Just be easy on yourself. Life happens to everyone. Be easy on yourself and put God first. That's all.
Put God first and be easy on yourself. Nizwela, you've heard it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Miss Xolly. As we wrap it up, we only do it for 30 minutes, you know, so that's not at least cut.
Yes.
We appreciate your time. Thank you for availing yourself. And we hope, of course, you'll definitely make a splash with those upcoming tours.
I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And for everybody else who's watching who managed to tune in, and obviously who will then watch the video later, if not watching live, thank you again for managing to come through and checking us out. Of course, you've heard for yourself. Let's please then take to heed what Xolly taught us today and told us today, of course, and try and better ourselves in our relationships with God. But otherwise, this is the end of our episode tonight of Live Chats on Monday, only happening on Wednesday, of course, because Facebook decided to ditch us on Monday. But otherwise, thank you for coming through, and adios, amigos.